Overall, phenomenal job. I think the question can be answered now that we are going to be better versus the past. Through 2 games, we've done. I know these aren't great passing teams in general. Colorado State's a better passing team than Michigan, but it's still a phenomenal job. The tackling's phenomenal in space. We saw that multiple times. There are multiple plays where last year Donovan Edwards breaks one for a gigantic game, and honestly, he might have broken one for a touchdown. But you see Michael Taft coming up, making a shoestring tackle. You see Andrew Makuba coming up and playing phenomenal all day versus the pass and the run. You see Jahdae Barron, Jalen Gilbo coming up in the run to help as well. Overall, fantastic job by the defense. I was thoroughly impressed. It's our biggest test will be in a couple weeks when we play Mississippi State. That will be the best offense we've played up until that point. But overall, we played a good offense in Colorado State, shut them down to 0 points. This week, we played a good defense, and you saw how good our offense looked. So I think basically this team is exactly who I thought they were. I thought they were going to be a well-balanced, overall, really good on both sides team, and that's what they've turned into. I don't think they're going to be elite on the defensive side of the ball, but I thought they could rank between 25 and 35th in basically every category. I think there's a really good chance for that. And with the offense that we have and with Steve Sarkisian calling the plays, that is good enough for this team. Andrew Makuba, I'm just going to say this. He gets my game ball on the defensive side of the ball. He was phenomenal, guys. He had an interception on that one pass that got thrown at Colson Loveland, and then a couple of Texas defenders hit him. It popped up in the air, and he made the interception. He came up and laid wood on some plays to break up some pass attempts. Overall, phenomenal job. You see the athleticism in the back end. That's what we sorely missed with them last year. Just a phenomenal job by Andrew Makuba in Texas on the back end. Really good job. Corey, this secondary has improved by light years, 100%. They came up, they played the ball well when they had to, tackling very well. They're in the right positions. And I think you just see what Johnny Nance and Pete Kulkowski, what they talked about. They wanted to become more fundamentally sound. Mission accomplished. The tackling's phenomenal. They're breaking up pass attempts. They're just doing what you have to do to just be a good defense. And again, a good defense is good enough with this team. It really is. I will say this, at the end of the game, Colin Simmons came in. I don't know if he had a sack here, but he was causing mayhem. He did. He had 1 sack on the day. That was the only sack we had. And I saw people on Twitter complaining about that for Texas, like we're not getting enough pressure. Michigan really didn't allow that. They were getting out of the ball pretty quickly out of their hands. They're also running very short routes up until the end of the game. And again, it's hard to take anything, but I think Colin Simmons is probably already the most pure pass rusher on this team and a guy that I think needs to get more playing time. And it's crazy because you can tell, like I saw him on the field. He's a tall guy, but he's not particularly built really big right now. But that's something I think over time, obviously Colin Simmons will put on weight, and that guy's going to be a freak. And he definitely should be on the field more in general right now. He's good enough to be on the field right now where he's at. But overall, he played well. Defensive line and linebackers were solid with the run gaps and stopping the run for the most part. Michigan overall only had 284 yards, only 80 yards rushing. Let's see here. 80 yards rushing on 14, 17, 20, 22 carries, guys. That's less than 4 yards per carry. That's a really good job by this Texas defense. Again, it's an underrated unit, and a unit that I was happy with going into the season. I know other people were questioning it, but I fully believe that this team is better at 9 out of the 11 positions on defense, which means it's better overall, which means it can help us out in the run and the pass this year, where last year was it was just bad versus the pass. It wasn't as bad as they make it out to be because they say 116th in the country when you should be looking at pass yards per attempt or per completion. You shouldn't be looking at overall because guess what? If teams couldn't run versus you, then they have to pass versus you, and that's what teams did last year. This year, I think we're just going to be overall good versus both, and you can see that early on. Again, I just want to see it versus a true good passing team. But the thing is this year, guys, it's a cyclical thing, and this year, quarterback play is not as good as it was last year. It's just not. Like, we honestly probably have the best quarterback in the country. And that means a lot. It means a lot. And that's why I said this team can win a national championship if Quinn Ewers is taking that next step. He's clearly taken that next step. And this team needs to be talked about more in national championship pictures. Everyone that I saw, I never saw anyone pick Texas. I didn't pick Texas. I didn't pick Oregon. And I don't understand that. To me, if you're going to pick Oregon, you can pick Texas because I do think it's Georgia And then I think there's a gap. And then I think it's probably Texas, Ohio State, and then another gap. That's what I believe at this point, what I've seen. And it's going to be really fun in 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I think, playing Georgia, because we do have a bye week in there. So overall, just really, really good game. It was really fun. Cook going to transfer. Yeah, probably, Corey. I called that at the beginning of the year. I said Jonte Cook is the most likely guy to transfer out of the wide receiver room, because I just thought you're going to see – I think I ranked him when we were doing snaps. I said Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, which no one else had that. I had that, and I nailed that. I'm going to nail that. Those are going to be your 2 best wide receivers with the most snaps. Then I believe I said Ryan Wingo, which we'll see about that maybe. And then I said Silas Bolden. That I'm wrong on. I don't think Silas Bolden will be 4th on the team in snaps. I think it's going to be DeAndre Moore at 4 and Ryan Wingo at 3. And then I had Jonte Cook 5th on the team in snaps. And I think that's what he's going to end up being at the wide receiver position. He's probably going to have to transfer. But I don't care, Corey. At this point, it does not matter to me, because I want the best players playing. And Jonte Cook isn't one of the best 3 to 4 wide receivers on this team right now. He's just not. I honestly think it's pretty clear. It's Bond, Golden, and then probably Wingo. Wingo has the most juice with the height he has. Everyone's about as fast, if not faster, but he's also tall. So it was hilarious watching him run, because I'm like, he looks slow, but he's not. It's just he's pretty fast, but he's a long strider. It was very weird to watch him run. He's like a baby gazelle running. It was pretty interesting, but he's going to be a stud. I can't wait to watch him develop. Him on the offensive side of the ball and Colin Simmons on the defensive side of the ball is going to be a lot of fun. I've called it since last year. Yeah, I never really saw it with Jonte. I'm going to be honest with you. You can kind of tell right away if someone's special, and I never saw Jonte being that special guy. That could 100% change, and I'm rooting for it. I would love to have Jonte Cook and for him to look special for this Texas team, but it's pretty clearly Bond, Golden, Wingo, and then the 4th guy, I honestly don't know. You could make an argument. It's probably DeAndre Moore, Jonte Cook, or Silas Bolden, obviously, would be the 3 in contention. I want to see more Bolden, honestly. You only saw him once. Quinn overshot it just a little bit, a step out in front of Silas there. That would have been really fun. I want to see him in the open field. I'm sure we will see him versus less talented defenses break into the open field, and that's going to be a lot of fun for this Texas team to watch him run out in space. Cook to Oregon, I could 100% see that. He's like a perfect Oregon wide receiver, honestly. His stride is different. Yeah, his stride is very awkward. Like, it really looks like a baby animal trying to run, and he kind of is. He's only 17, 18 years old out there, and he's just long striding people. I wanted him to score so bad on that. I was gonna brag, guys, too, because I bet the over in this game when the line came out. It was 45.5, and I bet the over. If Michigan would have got that 2-point conversion, I would have covered. And I had Texas obviously covering as well. So I would have covered on both. And I was hoping they would. Then I'd be like, thanks, Michigan. You helped me out and you got your doors beat in. Would have been awesome. But it is what it is. And that's what this team this year is. Way more depth, way more speed. Overall, just solid at every group. There's not one group you can look at and say, you know what, this isn't good. It's just good all around. And that's why this team has a higher ceiling to me than last year's team, because last year's team had more upper echelon talent, but there was a scale down. Once you hit a certain point, there isn't that scale down with this Texas team, and that's what makes it really exciting. And Gunnar Helm was great blocking, catching, being athletic. The first guy never brought him down. He was always breaking tackles. He's always where he needs to be. He's got that great connection with Quinn Ewers. He had over 80 yards receiving today, guys. He was phenomenal, plus the touchdown. So, yeah, 7 catches, 98 yards. He was our leading receiver. Isaiah Bond had 3 for 51. Matthew Golden, 6 for 41 and a touchdown. Jaden Blue was 4th with 6 for 37 and a touchdown. Yeah, so overall, really, really good job. It's crazy. DeAndre Moore only had 2 targets. Silas Bolden only had 1 target, and then Jonte Cook had the 1 target, or he did have the catch, but it got taken away later in the game because of the hold. Yeah, Auburn did let us down, Corey. He did miss that one. That was frustrating, but I'm going to be honest with you. The way we moved the ball so easily, I was like, okay, we'll probably get more opportunities than that, so it wasn't that big of a deal. The whole offensive line was great once the play started. Like I said, the issue was pre-play. If we can get that corrected where the pre-play gets cleaned up, which I think it will, and the reason why I think it will, because the only guy doing that was Cam Williams. It was his first true road start. I understand why he was nervous. I understand. So I don't really have that much of an issue with him. I don't think he had as bad of a game as people thought he did. Like when I go back and watch, I guarantee you he's blocking very well. It's just the pre-snap stuff that needs to get cleaned up. But overall, very good effort for Texas.